Hello and welcome to Concert Pipeline. That's Jens Schickel.
And that is Steve Jones.
And Jens, today on the program, we have a fun one. We're going overseas for the first of the next two episodes. We have a singer-songwriter named John Smith from the UK.
All right, so we're hopping over the pond here for this interview, right?
We are. And so John was in his home in the UK. He's in between tours. He just did a tour on the east coast of the US, went back home for a little bit, and he's coming back to the west coast and actually going to be in San Francisco this Sunday. So you can check him out if you want to see John Smith, but you'll also be able to check him out, do a couple of songs here on Concert Pipeline. He performed a couple of songs for us. So,
all right. Well, that's always a nice treat. Thank you very much, John.
Of course. It's always good to bring the live music on the program, right. Yeah, we have an opportunity to do that today. So we'll get to John here in just a few. Really fun chat. Before we do, a couple things we need to talk about, Jens.
Yeah, we got to do some catching up here. I could probably come up with a couple of things that I could talk about, but there's been some major events and some travel that's been going on with you lately. So please share what's happening.
Yes. So let's start with the travel a little bit. And we can use the term travel loosely, right? Because when you travel, it's either like by airplane or boat or rocket ship or something along those lines.
I haven't done the rocket ship yet.
Something to aspire to, and I'm sure it's on the docket somewhere. So, but that's how you travel. But this traveling for me involves driving hundreds of miles.
Well, that's a long trek.
Yeah.
So you hopped in a good old car and headed south.
I did. I went down to LA for the weekend to visit my buddy John, who moved down there last year, and I told him, I was like, look, I'll come down the first weekend that I don't have kids after duck hunting season is over, right? And so I did that. But coincidentally, that was the same weekend as Super Bowl Sunday. And I didn't realize until much late in this, it was already planned and everything completely, when I realized, oh, okay, the Super Bowl is going to be in LA the same weekend. Oh, and the Rams are playing at home. I'm like, it's going to be nuts. I'm barely going to get into LA. It's not even going to work out.
Start the story with the traffic. Like, how was the traffic as soon as you started approaching LA?
It was pretty much non-existent. You turned your video off. There you go.
What? Sorry, I had a malfunction.
You're good. What is your major malfunction? Yes, it was pretty much non-existent. I'll tell you. I got most of the way in normal LA traffic, when I got there. So it was nothing crazy at all. So
that's amazing. So you weren't gridlocked for 4 or 5 hours just to get to John's place?
No. I mean, I didn't. I stopped 5 hours in to get gas because I had less than 30 miles left on my tank. And that was on the other side of the grapevine, and then I had 40 minutes left on top of that getting into LA, and part of the delay even getting into LA was something I had to pull over because I was driving past the Hollywood Bowl, right? Legendary places to see concerts. I've never been, but something caught my attention, and I was like, okay, I must stop, right? And I didn't do it for myself. I did it for my son, because I saw something at the Hollywood Bowl, and I'm going to show you what I saw. I saw
the suspense is killing me, man. You saw the freaking Ghostbusters Mobile.
I saw the Ecto one, yes, and Addie is obsessed.
Oh my God, look at that thing.
It's awesome. It's awesome, right?
That thing looks just about showroom perfect.
Yeah, there were a bunch of other sharp cars, as you can see, but I wasn't interested in any of them. I was interested in the Ecto one. I had to take pictures, and I had to call Atticus up and and show him the pictures immediately, right?
That was amazing.
went all around it, went up to it, looked in the windows and everything. Didn't touch it. Don't want to get didn't want to get barked at or anything, but
Right.
was so stoked. And Atticus was like, do you think it'll be there when we go down to LA? Because we're going down again in 2 weeks. Because I'm like, hey, why do this just once? Let's do it twice, right?
Right.
So I'm gonna drive down with the kids. And I figure while I'm on the road, maybe I'll have an incentive to keep them entertained and say, for every trucker that they can get to honk at the, doing one of these, they'll get they'll get $1, so they'll get competitive and everything.
Oh my God, you're gonna lose a lot of money there. That's
I
gonna
don't
be like
know.
some serious allowance.
Do truckers still do that? I don't know. I haven't.
Probably, unless they're all up in Canada protesting.
Could be. My dad was worried about that in LA for me too, like because he thought that would be a thing, but no. And I'll tell you, to close out the LA piece of my story, Jens, I was expecting to, again, a lot of hoopla around the Super Bowl. I saw 2 fans wearing Rams gear the whole weekend.
That was it?
Oh, 3 if you count the hot dog at Pink's.
Wow, I was expecting a lot more blue and yellow or whatever our colors are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And there were a couple more Cleveland fans that we saw over the course of the weekend. But I don't know, maybe it was just a part of LA where we were, but I did not see many people decked out in any gear for the Super Bowl. It did not really affect our weekend at all in any capacity.
Right. Well, I got a couple questions, regarding the picture that you shared. One, I noticed nobody was behind the wheel of the Ghostbusters Mobile. Was there like a Dan Aykroyd sighting or any of the cast?
Yeah, Dan Aykroyd's just standing there. He's like, I go where this goes, I guess. They brought me back in the sequel, So
right.
Yeah. No.
What about so there was a car right next to it, a pink Cadillac, I think it was.
Sure.
I don't suppose that was Prince's car, just
it's
somebody drives it around.
Red Corvette.
Isn't there like a pink Cadillac?
I don't know what's now. I know. He has
does
a
little red Corvette, but I thought there was like a pink Cadillac in one of his songs.
Does he just sing about different types of cars or something?
I don't know, but now you got me confused since you mentioned little red Corvette. Pink cat.
Now we got to look it up. That's Bruce Springsteen, sir.
What?
How
does it go?
I don't know, pink Cadillac or something. Full lyric. I know what you're talking about. I love you for your pink Cadillac, crushed ripped velvet seats, riding in the back, cruising down the street, waving to the girls, feeling out of sight, spending all my money on a Saturday night. Blah blah blah. Yeah. So okay, no Prince. No
okay, Bruce never mind. So let me ask you: did you see Bruce Springsteen?
Did not see Bruce Springsteen. Did not see any of them. There were no star sightings except the ones on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, which I jogged to because, of course, I had to get my exercise in. So I jogged over to the Hollywood Walk of Fame and saw some some of the stars and everything.
That's amazing. Because you sent me a picture of one of the Hollywood stars dedicated to Robin Williams.
I did, yes. I did not send you the Bill Cosby one, which still exists. But yeah, so that's my first story. I will. The other piece that I know you wanted me to tell you about was a little purchase that I'm making, and
just a small little purchase, like the biggest purchase of your life.
Yes, and that is I put in an offer on a house on Friday, and it was accepted Saturday.
That was amazing. It goes so fast, right? I mean,
yeah, like
within 24 hours.
And they liked my offer. I think they liked that I was a single dad. I also wrote a letter for my realtor to give to the owner, and so she gave it to the owner's realtor, and I don't know, a couple hours later, I got a call from my realtor.
And here I thought you were going to tell me they were big fans of the show. They recognized you right away.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Yes, it's because they're a big fan of Concert Pipeline. So,
right. So go ahead.
I was just going to say, I just got a call and text from my realtor right now. At this moment, the moment we're taping, and we do still use tape, right? And
I was just going to say, you just sounded like me.
Just got to forward wind it. Yes, I know.
Got to forward wind it, got to rewind it, but definitely not fast forward. You got to forward wind it.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so the owner of the house just tested positive for COVID, and so we were going to do the inspection tomorrow, but we apparently have to reschedule. So,
oh my God, fumigate the whole place.
I'm like, I don't understand why that would prevent us from looking at the house per se. Like, if the owner's not there, I mean,
what's the big deal? If the owner's not there, then
you can't get it from looking at a house, right? So,
right. Interesting.
Yeah, so,
okay.
So anyway, yes, house in Vacaville, California, which loosely translated means cowtown. So, yes, so that's exciting. I'm going from the Napa Valley to Cowtown, and
there you go. You're going from the beautiful vineyards where you live right now, right in the middle of the beautiful vineyards, and you're going into, next door you've got a dairy farm, and you get to milk cows.
Yes. So it's a big step, though. It is my first home, and so I'm going through all the process, and it's pretty stressful because there's a lot of it I don't understand, and I'm trying to figure out, and I'm trying not to get screwed over on interest rates and all of that, right. and it's a pain in the ass, and so I'm just ready for it to be done, and even when it's done, I'm going to do a slow move in probably and keep this place for a little bit since the kids are finishing up school. It just makes sense on a lot of levels to still be here for a bit longer and not rush it. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, why rush it? Take a nice, easy transition. Make sure to get the furniture that you need. I don't have to buy everything at once. They often say, and this is what I did too when I moved into this house. It just kind of, you got to get to know what the house is like. You've got to get to know the house. So you have a general idea what the house is like, but after you live there for 6 months or a year, you'll have a totally different impression of how the house works. Like you'll know where the warm rooms are, the cold rooms are, the little quirks, the stuff you might need to buy stuff for that you didn't really originally think about. So
yeah, exactly. So I'm excited about it. I mean, the house checks a lot of boxes for what I'm looking for. It just really lined up. Good area, good, most of the schools are good. Minimal amount of sex offenders nearby.
So that's good.
Yeah.
Was that on the report or something like that?
No, you gotta look that up on your own. So my dad's like, there's 10 with it, within so and so distance. The nearest one is like a quarter mile away or something. So
were there any disclosures about the house? Like sometimes they have to report things legally, like if somebody had been murdered there, or somebody passed away in the house, or I don't know, if it used to be a meth lab.
Right, I think they do have to disclose some of that stuff, and I don't think it's existent, so I think we're good. So
all right,
that's my story, Jens. I think we should bring John Smith in, huh?
Let's bring John in. Thanks for the update, man. Of
course. Come on in, John. John, how you doing?
Hey, how are you, man?
I am good. I'm good. Thanks for taking the time. Thanks for the flexibility. Also, had to just run back from dropping my daughter off at school, so I'm just juggling the times. But I appreciate your flexibility.
No worries. My wife is doing the school run right now. I managed to get out of this one in favor of talking to you.
Hey, it works out. I'm glad I could be here to to lighten the load there.
So where are you based?
I am in Napa, California myself. So
Oh, lovely.
Napa Valley, yes.
Beautiful. I'll be in California in a couple of weeks.
Yes, yes, you're going to be playing San Francisco. I know you're doing LA.
Yeah.
You know, the West Coast run because you already did the East Coast, right? So, so you did the East Coast, taking a little break back home, and then coming back to the States, huh?
That's it. Yeah. The way it worked out, it was all very COVID. I had a few more things in the book for February, including the Folk Alliance conference, and then that was postponed. And then I had these dates, that I had kind of tried to pin onto Folk Alliance, and I just thought, if I postpone these dates, it's just going to drive me crazy. I've postponed things so many times in the last 2 years, so I just thought, even though this will probably end up costing me money rather than touring making money, but I just thought, man, sod it. I really want to go and play these shows. This is the second half of my first US headline tour, and I can't postpone it again. I've got too much invested emotionally, and musically. It feels like I just have to go and play these shows. So maybe it's a bad idea, and maybe no one will come, but at least I get to go to California and Oregon and Arizona and all my favorite places.
Yeah, yeah.
I love touring the US, and it was so nice to go up to the Northeast and see it in January. I've never been upstate New York in January. It's that's some serious cold up there.
You had some snow run-ins. I saw, like it was, yeah, pretty chilly, huh?
Very chilly. So in California, I'll just be wearing a shirt, I guess.
Yeah, shorts, comparative for sure. I mean, we have like one season here, so and it doesn't often involve rain or snow or anything along those lines. No actual weather. Yeah, you'll be good. Yeah. So let's just let's. Do you want to start with the song and then we do another one later? What are you thinking?
Whatever you want, man.
All right. Why don't we start with the song?
Which one did you want?
So Axe Mountain was really interesting to me, and I listened to that a couple of times. And I know you brought that into a more recent album, but I listened to it first on your first album. That's second album. I was going to say I was correcting myself. I'm like, no, it wasn't actually the first, but that's where I heard it first, and I'm like, man, there's so much power to this song. I'm like, it would be awesome if John would play it. So
okay. Well, yeah, thank you. Yeah, I re-recorded that song for Hummingbird, as it felt like, I don't know, I just felt like I wanted it to be brought back to people's attention somehow,
Yeah. What did you change when you re-recorded it? Like,
I recorded it in a studio instead of in the middle of a forest.
Yeah.
The first time I recorded it, I was down in the forest of Mississippi, in the bamboo forests there, and the sound was just bonkers. There was a lot of there was gunshot in the distance.
Trains. I heard trains on that album a little bit, right?
Trains, it was a fun experiment, but it wasn't the most hi-fi record that I've made.
But yeah, I mean, you made the whole album like in the South, right? Like,
yeah, pretty much. Driving around Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and then we finished the album. Did some overdubs in Liverpool, but yeah, the bulk of it was made in the South. Yeah, driving around in a rental car. Yeah.
Nice.
It was fun, but I felt like this song deserved another crack of the whip. Maybe record it in a recording studio.
Sure, it's a good one. I look forward to it.
All right, man. Let me see. Sit down here beside me, and I'll tell you a sad old tale of lonely old Axe Mountain town and Lester Joseph K. did the women work and hard the burden was. Doubly hard they worried when young Lily Mae was lost. Lily Mae was mourned, another week passed in the rain, till the day of harvest came and we were missing Jane. Another season's toil broke another one more. Lily, Jane and dozen still were buried on the moor. What did their husbands say? They're all cowards, they were weak and frail. None had dared to speak his name, Lester Joseph Cale. Axe mounted, yeah, let those women die on a knife. The lover that I know for sure, I love her all my life. He came out of the darkness with a rucksack made of skin. As soon as he was seen, he was gone again. I heard he'd been a murderer for 15 years and more. Whole villages are gone all over the moor. I heard he had a family once, a child and a wife, but now nobody here is safe from Lester Joseph Cale's knife. Stand up, be strong, I'll take him, that's the bravest of the men. Dead in bed he's found that night in pieces, all in sin they shall be bled, is written in red on the bedroom wall. Helen, as she saw this, and she fled across the moor. Axe mounted, let them people die at a knife. And I love it, I know I loved her. She flew up old Axe Mountain, raised her hand and cried, grab me a weapon, ye gods of mine. Lester Cale must die. And the sky had cracked, it split the mountain. She reached inside, pulled out an axe so terrible any man on earth would die. She screamed with rage, flung herself into the town below, tore off her clothes and waited for Lester Joseph Cale to show. And he did, and he laughed. Little girl, what's the plan? You're alone. It's you and me. I butchered your old man. She said, no, don't speak his name, no mention my man. She struck him in the face, cut off both his hands, once, twice, 3, 4. She could cut no more. Fed the meat and bones to wild dogs. Upon the moor, Axe Mountain, let them people die at a knife. I love it and I know I loved till she died. The men went off in search of better jobs, in search of pride. Yes. Oh, when there was mine, I loved her more than life, but so scared was I, so Scared I've lost that Joseph Carroll was I. So scared was I could not protect my wife. Axe Mountain, how'd you let those people die to bleed? I love it that I know for sure and regret it every day. Axe Mountain, let them people die at a knife. I love it that I know I loved her. I miss her all my life.
Yes, love it.
Hey, cheers.
Yeah.
Sorry about the coughing.
It takes a toll on you.
First time I've sang today. I've been a desk monkey today, doing spreadsheets and all the boring side of the job I've been doing. So that's the first time I've picked up my guitar.
You're good. You're
All right,
cracked and ready for a song later in the in the program, right? So yeah. So let's start kind of at the beginning, work our way wherever from there. But I know you started with the piano, as many kids do, but you kind of pushed back on it a little bit. It wasn't the instrument for you, right?
No, I played piano when I was maybe, I think I started when I was 5, and then I remember kind of stopping when I was maybe 11. I never had an inspiring piano teacher. I really loved and still love the instrument, and I got through my grades, and I won some competitions, like went and played against other 8-year-olds, playing chopsticks or whatever it was. I can't remember. Some very basic pieces, and it was all fine. But I never, it was never passionate. And then when I was 11 and I started getting into proper grown-up music, I wanted to play the drums, and I played the drums for like 6 months. But then it still wasn't the one. And then the guitar happened, and when I was 11, I picked up my dad's guitar, and I learned C, F, and G, and that was it. That was me then. I was in my bedroom every day, every spare minute I could find for the next 7 years through school, just playing, and that's all I wanted to do.
And your dad wasn't a musician, but he just liked to play? Because I know he was in the industry, but he didn't have a band or anything.
No. My dad was a classical records man. He was involved in distribution. His was a bit of a sad story. He got screwed over by his business partner. This guy, they bought Naxos Records into the UK, which is the biggest classical label in the world. And my dad was responsible for that. And then the guy that he was working with, whose name I won't mention here, but he screwed my dad over, and my dad went bankrupt overnight. So I grew up with a dad who loved music, but the music industry had really torn him apart, and we grew up with having gone from being a pretty a well-to-do family. We were then within a year on the breadline, and so my dad had to just go and get whatever job he could. He ended up working as a taxi driver, and then working his way up, taking over the taxi company, and running a few taxi firms. He's always been someone who goes in at the bottom, works his way up, and takes over, and people kind of look up to him, and fantastic man. But he had a rough ride in the music business. So for me, music, I suppose I saw firsthand how vicious the music industry can be. And for me, it was all about the love of guitar. So until I started taking it seriously, and until I went professional, when I was 24, music for me was just escapism. It was like just doing it for the joy of doing it. And my dad really encouraged that. He made sure that there was always good music on in the house. He'd always play me the right music at the right time. I remember the first times I heard Led Zeppelin, Neil Young, Burt Jansch. You know, I got a really strong grounding in folk and blues and roots music from the off, really.
Yeah. I'm actually interviewing John Bonham's sister tomorrow, by the way.
Wow, cool.
Yeah. So just a little cool tie-in there. But yeah, so when you hit 24, like, yeah, and you said you went professional, like what was that transition like for you, where you went all in? You're like, okay, this is it. It's all or nothing. Like, what did that look like for you?
I was studying music, and I guess I finished, and I had a year or two of playing in restaurants and pubs, bars, clubs, just scraping together whatever money I could. But I was also working like 5 part-time jobs, just trying to survive, you know.
Yeah.
I got one gig that paid properly, my first proper paying show, paid as much as I would earn in all my part-time jobs in a week. So I quit all my jobs and went professional. And then I was flat broke for like 3 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the moment that I decided actually music might pay my bills. And you know, my bills such as they were, I was a young man living alone. It's a lot, you know, I didn't need a lot of money. But it was when I got offered the opening
For
slot
John Martin.
Yeah. That's what gave me a career. I was already doing my own accounts, but then I got offered this opportunity to start a career. And then, you know, John took me on the road for 2 years, and that was it really. I got offered loads of work off the back of that, because opening for John was a big deal. And I would write to festivals and say, look, I don't have an agent, but I'm opening for John Martin. Any chance I can come and play? And they'd say, sure, yeah, here's, you know, we'll give you 300 quid, come and play our festival. And I would go, okay, that's great. That's, you know, that's me for 2 weeks in July, paid for. Great. I'll go and play this gig, sell some CDs. And suddenly it was all very grassroots, but it was viable, you know, and that's how I built it. Just taking names everywhere I went, building a mailing list, and generating a proper grassroots cottage industry around my music.
Yeah. What did you learn from John Martin through that 2 years that you toured with him?
Not to mess with him.
That's a big one, huh?
He was a tough man. Yeah, but he was beautiful as well. He gave me a lot of confidence. You know, he would give very honest feedback, and he instilled a lot of confidence in me to do what I was doing, and to do it in front of a lot of people. I learned a bit about drinking too. You know,
what were your drinks of choice?
Man, he would drink double brandy and port.
Wow.
You know, rocket fuel, and I just drank beer back then.
I'll have a beer. Yeah, exactly.
I'll just have a beer. But there was one night where we were in a pub over the road from the gig in Liverpool, in a famous pub called the Liverpool Philharmonic. It's the Philharmonic pub, which is opposite the Philharmonic Hall. It's a old institution in Liverpool, and we're sat in a private room in there, and John just pulls out this roll of £50 notes. There must have been a couple of £1,000, and he just went, "Here you go, son. Double brandy and port. Keep the change." And I got his drink, and I got me a beer, and then I had to just wait for the right moment to sneak the money back into his pocket, you know, because I didn't.
Yeah.
He'd wake up and wouldn't have remembered that, but yeah, there was an element of chaos around him, but he'd get on stage and open his mouth, and total serenity. You know, everyone would just, whoa! Everyone would take a breath and a big sigh because John Martin was singing. Yeah, he was quite a unique character, I think.
Yeah, and so when you started, I understand you were recording on 8-track, and then kind of moving from 8-track to CDs, right?
Yeah.
What was it like recording on 8-track?
Oh, like an 8-track tape machine.
Isn't that what you used, right?
Yeah. Very early on, yeah. That's how I did all my demos. It was fun. It was just all I had access to. You know, now, you know, people start making music on a laptop. I couldn't afford a laptop until I think I was 27 when I could buy a laptop. You know, now it's kind of taken for granted that everyone's got a MacBook Pro and can get hold of Logic and make music. For me, that was like a new world. I was just guitar and vocals. So I borrowed a friend's 8-track, and then I think I took the fee from my first show opening for John, and sold a load of the CDs that I'd made on my friend's computer, and I sold a load at the gig, and then I had a few £100 from all of that. I gathered it up and I paid for the session to make my first record, which cost me something like £300. You know, nothing.
Yeah.
And then I got them printed, and then when I went back, I was invited back on the road with John. I took boxes of CDs and I was selling 100 CDs a night. So that was, you know, then the money started coming in. I started thinking about the next record, how to do it properly, and you know. But now when I go into a studio, it's like I know my way around a recording studio. I know how things work. But back then it was just making it up as I went along.
Yeah. And you said, so 2013 you put out Great Lakes, and you said that album changed your life. Tell me about that.
Well, that was the first time that I got on the radio in the UK. There's a bit of background noise here. Is that interfering?
No, I don't even hear it. Really.
Okay, great. Yeah, I was on the radio in the UK on BBC Radio, and so suddenly I would play shows, I would announce gigs, and they would sell out, and that had never happened to me before. You know, I sold out the Union Chapel in London in October 2013, which was beyond what I thought was possible with what I do, and you know, so I've got 1,500 people coming to listen to me play. It was a hell of a thing, and it really emboldened me and filled me with confidence. It also changed my financial situation. I started earning, you know, an actual salary then, because I was selling enough tickets to make the whole thing viable long term. So yeah, Great Lakes really changed my life.
Yeah. You've met a couple of pretty, you know, incredible people, you know, and I want to hear about those experiences. Paul McCartney, you've met 3 times. And so tell me about that experience with Paul McCartney and how that came about.
Well, I went to this music college in Liverpool, of which Paul McCartney is a patron. And so the first time I met him was in the bar at that college, and he was in there with his then wife, Heather. And he was just at the bar. He'd obviously been in for some meetings and things, and he was just there, and I just walked over and said, hello, do you mind if I talk to you for a minute? And he was like, oh, hello, lad. You know, just a lovely old Scouser, lovely bloke. And I just chatted to him a bit and, you know, asked what I'd do. And the next time I met him he was doing a songwriting masterclass in Liverpool that I managed to get into. And I played him a song. I played him Winter, that song of mine. And he really dug it. I think he'd played Glastonbury a few days before. And he seemed kind of tired and spaced out. So he was just very mellow, very gentle. The next time I saw him, he was handing out graduation certificates, and I was up there to get my certificate from this music college. And before he'd looked at my certificate, he looked at me and went, "Oh, hello, John." And I thought, he's actually remembered my name.
You're like, you have a place in one of the Beatles' brains, you know, kind of.
I think that's testament to him. What a gentleman to meet so many people, but he obviously remembers a face, and it was lovely. So I, you know, shook his hand. You all right, mate? Hello, lad. You know, he's just a lovely fella. So yeah, that was, to me, McCartney is the voice of God. You know, it's McCartney, Beethoven, and Bach. You know,
yeah,
he's up there communicating with the heavens. I can't think of a greater honour than to have met him. I'm so glad I did. Yeah.
And you had the chance to meet Eric Clapton too, and talk to him about, like, as you were learning the guitar, you were learning his songs, right?
Yeah, well, I met Clapton a couple of years ago at the Transatlantic Sessions, because he's a friend of Jerry Douglas. And yeah, when I was playing that gig, I was on that tour with Jerry and Rodney Crowell and them, and Clapton shows up backstage, and he was like, "Hello, mate, all right?" I said, "Yeah, you know, I learned Unplugged back to back, you know, when I was learning guitar." He said, "Oh, I can't remember half of that album." He said, "You'll have to lend me the tablature book because I can't remember it."
Uh,
It's quality. Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty cool too. Um, yeah, so you just turned 40. Like, what is it? Is that like a milestone for you? Does it feel any different as you kind of embark on your 40s? Do you have any goals set for this decade?
Not really. No, I had a load of goals and markers I wanted to hit, but then COVID happened and set me back 5 years. So now I've learned a lot about that, and I'm not taking anything for granted. I think I'm moving into this decade just feeling a sense of appreciation for what I have. You know,
Yeah.
I'll never take anything for granted again in this game. The fact that I can go out now and play shows is wonderful. You know, it feels like it could have all gone even more sideways than it did. So I'm grateful for what I've got. But
Yeah.
you know, I'm a little older and a little slower. Like I'm a different physically a different person to who I was in my early 20s. But I've got so much. I've learned so much, and I've got so much. You know, I've got a lovely family, and I get to play music for people. And COVID notwithstanding, still somehow managed to make a living from it. So yeah, I'm all
Yeah.
right with 40. It feels okay.
Yeah. And you were in Australia when COVID hit, right? Like you were playing shows over there?
Yeah, I woke up in a hotel room in Sydney and got the text message saying that I was going to drive up to the Blue Mountains that day. Got a message saying the festival's been cancelled. Stand by. You know, my agent, and I phoned and said, "What's the crack?" And they said, "Well, this, you know, quote unquote coronavirus seems to be in the town, and they're taking it pretty seriously." And I phoned home, and my wife said, "Look, you know, you might want to come home, love." My wife she's like the perfect touring wife. She never calls me to give me a hard time when I'm on the road. And this time she said, "I think you probably better come home. It's getting a bit serious here. Like all the supermarkets are sold out of food. They're saying there's gonna be a lockdown." And so I got on the next plane I could. I went home, and that was it. I've got 2 weeks of unfinished business in Australia.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I mean, on one hand, not really a safer place you could be than Australia, from what I understand, right? But but on the other
Yeah.
hand, you'd be stuck away from your family for months on end where you can't even play shows or anything, right? So
If I wasn't a family man, I probably would have stayed out there. My mate Jimmy said to me, "You can come and live with me on Bondi Beach. You know, stay as long as you want." And I thought, oh, if I didn't have a wife and a daughter, that sounds pretty
yeah,
good.
yeah. Australia seems
Yeah,
pretty amazing. It's one of those places I'd love to go to, and it just seems incredible, right? Like,
great. Yeah, it's lovely. Yeah.
yeah. Um, and so at that around that same time that COVID hit, I mean, so you had some other blows in your life that led to this new album, right?
Mm.
And so tell me kind of the process for you working through some of those, some of those really difficult life moments amidst, COVID hitting and where everybody's in a state of, uncertainty, I guess you could say, right? Like what was that like for you as you're processing and writing those songs?
Well, it was the songs kind of came directly as a result of how sorry, I've got an itchy back. Yeah, that thing where right in the middle of your shoulder blades and you can't reach it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Got it. Oh,
Good, good, good.
sorry. So
You're good. You're good.
yeah, the songs came directly as a result of trying to process some of that grief. We lost a few pregnancies, and the third one was it almost killed my wife. Um, Around that time, she spent a week in hospital. I couldn't go and visit her, so that was at the start of lockdown. I was home with my 3-year-old, then 3-year-old. You know, with my wife in hospital on death's door. My mum phoned to say she had breast cancer, and I was stuck. I couldn't go and help anyone. So my mum lived in Spain. You see, I've repatriated her since. She lives 5 minutes up the road from me now. I'm looking
Oh,
after her.
good, good.
But the process of of being completely powerless to look after the people in my life was really challenging. So I just picked up the pen. You know, it was either write songs or or go mad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Did you?
that helped me to make sense of it all.
Yeah. And so, I mean, with all of that going on, did you find yourself kind of going like to darker places at all, or I mean, in terms of how you had written previously?
No, I found with Headlong that was the album after Great Lakes. I found that really talking about myself and trying to make it relatable worked, you know. So darker places, I think. Yeah, so I learned from Headlong that actually singing about things that are relatable really works. I got some streaming success with some of those songs on Headlong.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, this is telling me something. Like maybe 9-verse murder ballads aren't the way to go, and I should be singing about how I feel about things. People seem to relate to it. So I applied that really to the songs on the Fray. I just wanted to talk about, you know, what has happened, how does it make me feel, how am I dealing with it? And yeah, it just, as soon as I started to do that, and I found myself putting myself out of the way of the process, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Just allowing myself to get stuck in and really sort of tell the story of what was happening. I found then that it felt completely natural. So yeah, I sort of, though some of the writing is a little dark, it's also very honest. I'm just talking about grief and optimism and hope and moving forward.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think.
for sure. And you were able to record it in a week. Is that about how long your albums typically take you when you get in there and do it, or?
6 days that was. The first 2 days I recorded the bones of everything, guitar and vocal, and I sent all the parts out to all the basic desk mixes. I sent to like Sarah Jarosz in Nashville, Bill Frisell up in, I think he was in Seattle at the time, or maybe he was in Brooklyn. Anyway, you know, Dropbox, just shared files, sent a link. The next day I would open the Dropbox and they would have recorded their parts and put it in there. So we were able to fold their contribution into the mix and feed off it, and the whole thing felt quite spontaneous on those terms, which was amazing. You know, Bill Frisell sending me 7 different interpretations of my song, and then I had to choose like which version of Bill Frisell is the best.
How do you choose, right?
Well, I phoned it. I said, "Can I have 3 more? Can you just
So
do
it's
them?"
not enough.
I thought I may as well be cheeky here. No, I said, "Can you do 1 more, a bit slower?" And then he sent me 3 more that were all completely different to what he'd sent before. So we used a bit of one, a bit of another, and then a chunk of another as an intro, and then my bass player and I improvised along to it. So it was like Bill was in the room, you know, contributing. And then when Bill Frisell plays something, everyone goes, "Oh my God, we have to try harder." And then, you know, you get on best behaviour. So that's kind of what happened. We just went, right, let's put an intro on this. And, you know, I had my British musicians come in, and in a day or two we recorded the drums, the horns, the bass, and then Jess from the Staves came in and put down some vocals. And she's a proper singer, you know, she starts singing and the whole thing elevates. And then we did a remote session with Lisa Hannigan in Dublin. So yeah, 6.5 days, the whole thing was done.
Yeah.
But we were working. That was long days. That we were, you know, I was getting maybe 4 hours sleep a night. that was long.
You crunched. Eye to Eye also, I wanted to say, is a really good song. I liked the video that you did of Sarah Jarosz also, and yeah, I mean, it felt of the moment a little bit. With, I mean, I like it, like her doing her part, you on yours, and then coming back together with the split screen. It's like, you know, it's kind of where we were at that point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It felt like it. It was sort of symptomatic of the time, wasn't it? Yeah. Can't be in the same place, but we're kind of making the same noise. I think when I started making the record, no one had really done distance collaboration thing, but I didn't want it to feel like it was a COVID record, so I didn't make too much noise about it. And then so many records came out afterwards where people had done that, and I thought, oh man, I should have made more of a big deal of it. But I was concerned that people would think, oh, this is the COVID record, you know,
Right.
because it's not. The record isn't really. It came out of those times, but it's actually just about. It's about grief and moving forward. You know, being a man, a husband, and losing a baby is a very particular kind of pain. And I thought, well, how do I express this? This has got nothing to do with COVID. I'm just going to pick up a pen and write some songs, and then that is what came out. It just so happened that I couldn't get on a plane and record in Nashville, which is what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
It was against the law, so you know what are you going to do?
For sure. And so do you let an album sit for a little bit, or are you already thinking ahead to the next, you know, the next album, the next songs?
Fray's been out almost a year now. I'm working on the next thing. I'm working on the next two things. I've got something coming soon, and I've got another thing that I'm working on. Yeah.
Top secret stuff, right? So
when's this going out?
Next week. So
okay. So yeah, well, you know, if your listeners want to keep an ear out, I'm announcing something. I'll be announcing something at the end of next week about what I'm doing next. So keep an ear out. I'll get in trouble though with my record label partners if I do a Tom Holland on Spider-Man. I'll get told off.
There's a specific method to how it needs to be announced, and it's not on Concert Pipeline. I got it, you know.
But
So.
Doctor Strange dies. Okay, so.
Oh, spoiler! No. In the next Doctor Strange movie, you know. Yeah. Well, cool. So I know you're going to play one more song for us, I think, to kind of wind us out here. It could be something from the new album. I'd thrown out Friends, but whatever you're feeling is good.
Friends, yeah, I can play Friends for sure. My friend, I won't ever say goodbye. We'll find one another down the line. People change, move on to a different place. My friend, always recognize your face. Maybe things went bad, it was time to move on. Find yourself a home, try to right the wrong. Still sometimes you feel like the days are too long. Just know I've been thinking of you, my friend. I won't ever say goodbye. We'll find one another down the line. Oh, people change, move on to a different place. My friend, always recognize your face. Heard you settled down, did the family thing. Always said you'd die before you put on a ring. Did the same thing too for the joy that it brings. And I wanna share it with you, my friend. I won't ever say Fray.
Beautiful. I love it. Awesome.
Thanks.
Awesome. See, got worked up earlier, got the king salad good, so very cool. Well, John, I want to thank you for taking the time today, and I know you're coming out here to the West Coast next week. I'm gonna try and make the show in San Francisco.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, trying to talk my daughter into going with me, actually. So, yeah, I love it. 11-year-old girl. It's a different taste in music right now, but trying to picture it around a daddy-daughter date. Do other stuff in the city and that sort of thing. So we'll see. Still working on that one, but
I'm sure it will be mostly empty, but it'd be great to have you there.
Hey, it's about getting out, being on stage, playing live music to whoever can make it. And I'll tell you, even myself, like I used to go to a concert a week, right? do the interviews at shows and everything, and then COVID hit, and then it was that year without a concert, like any concerts at all. And then even like last year, I went to maybe 3 concerts or something. So they exist, but it requires a different level of intentionality to it at this point. It feels like now, right? Like I miss it so much, but this is a great way to live vicariously through it still,
Yeah.
So
well, I'm glad that people are coming out, and committing, and I completely understand why some people aren't going out and being extra cautious. That makes sense to me, but I also really appreciate those who are coming out. So anyone showing up to my gigs at the minute it feels like a win. I'm very grateful for it.
Yeah. Well, I wish you a lot of luck with the tour, John, and hopefully I see you out here when you're in San Francisco on the 20th.
I hope so, Steve. Thanks for your time, man.
That was the interview with John Smith here on Concert Pipeline. And Jens, that takes us to the final segment on the program. What is it?
Well, Steve, it is time to talk about some music news. Now, this is a segment where we discuss just a diddly about what's going on in the music world.
Diddly it indeed.
Is that a thing? Did I use that word correctly?
I don't know. You probably didn't, let's be honest. But we'll go ahead and do a diddly anyway.
Let's do a diddly.
Yeah, we'll do that. So okay, Jens, I have a story for you here, okay? And we talked about the Super Bowl, and so there was some festival concerts. There were some big concerts in LA around the Super Bowl. One night, Gwen Stefani and her hubby, fucking country boy, the fuck is his name? I don't know. Blake Shelton.
Blake Shelton. That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna say Travis Twitt.
No.
Blake Shelton.
Blake Shelton. Like they did a show, and then the next night, the Saturday that I was getting into town, Green Day were playing with Miley Cyrus, and so I talked to my buddy John about. I was like, maybe we should go see Green Day, and he's like, I don't know, I'm weird about COVID, sort of thing, right? And and so we didn't go. I would have liked to have gone. That would have been cool, but we didn't go. So let me tell you a little bit about their set that they did. Right, they played a 28 song set of classics and rarities, including a couple of covers. This is their first show in 2022, the Bud Light Super Bowl Music Fest, and this was the third night of the festival, as I said. And they opened with American Idiot. I'm just going to go through some of these songs because part of me was like, they'll play a lot of the new shit anyway, and like their most recent 3 or 4 albums that sucked, right? So like don't want any of that. They They played Holiday, Know Your Enemy, I Fought the Law, by the Crickets, which is the first time that they'd covered that, historically in the past, but this is the first time since 2010 that they played that. Boulevard of Broken Dreams, Longview, Welcome to Paradise. They did I Think We're Alone Now.
Oh my God! All right, there's some good covers in there.
Yeah, Rock and Roll All Night. My Kiss, Brain Stew, When I Come Around, 21 Guns, Minority. Oh my gosh, I'm just going through this. Basket Case, She, Wake Me Up When September Ends, Jesus of Suburbia, Good Riddance, Time of Your Life.
You should have left John at home, man, and just gone.
I should have gone. He gave me the option to just go, but I'm like, dude, I'm here to hang with you and everything, but there was no way I could have known that they would have a set that long,
right,
and B, play all of their hits and great covers and a fucking amazing set, right?
Right. That sounds killer.
No way. But I'm sending John the set list right now. So
yeah, man, rub it in. It's like freaking you missed out, man. So where did they play?
They played at, you have to ask the hard-hitting questions. It was crypto.com arena because everything is crypto now, right?
Right. Whoever that is.
Yeah. I know.
Did that used to be like, that famous place. I don't remember. Jesus Christ. The place where everything happens in LA.
Staples Center.
Staples Center, thank you.
Yeah, we got there.
I'm glad it didn't take us another hour.
Yeah, that was fun. So anyway, great set by Green Day that I completely missed. Yeah. So I just
tell us what else you missed.
Oh no! I'll tell you what else I missed. Like one of my favorite podcasts was taping live there. Also, that evening, coincidentally, they were playing a couple of shows around the country and happened to be playing live there. Smartless podcast with Jason Bateman, Will Arnett, and Sean Hayes. Great fucking podcast. They always have a mystery guest too, so I don't know who the mystery guest was. I haven't looked it up or anything, but they were doing that. Bryan Cranston was also doing he's in some play, and he was doing some play in town that night as well. So those are just a couple of things that I missed by not going out on Saturday night.
You're talking about
Los Angeles.
The actor guy.
Yes.
Breaking Bad.
You've seen Breaking Bad. Yes.
He does plays.
He's currently in a play. Yeah. Some people don't just do movies or TV shows or anything along those lines. They act on stage and like to scratch that itch. Also, the real actors do that. And so when you don't hear from them for a couple of months, it's because they're doing a play usually, right? So
they're classically trained on stage.
Yeah.
Yes. There are a lot of famous people that have been classically trained on stage. I think like Picard is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's not his name.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about.
John, Stewart.
John Luke. Yeah, no.
What? Patrick Stewart. Yeah.
Yes, Patrick Stewart.
Yes, him.
Can I talk about Kanye West now?
You may. I was hoping you would. We need to start talking about Kanye West more. That's something we've been missing out on for a long time. Carry on.
I'm going to carry on. So I think a lot of guys wonder about what kind of flowers they should give their girlfriend or wife for whatever occasion it is. For Valentine's Day, roses are a big deal, right?
Yeah.
So you might think, I'm going to buy my girlfriend a rose or maybe a dozen roses, and then there are people like Kanye West that decide, you know what, I'm just going to go over the top, and how about a whole freaking truckload of roses?
Oh, is that how
a truckload?
A truckload. Yes,
Kim,
because you're
got a truckload of roses.
And so you mentioned one thing though, and here's the dividing line, Jens. You said your girlfriend or wife or whatever she is neither of those to him.
To him,
To
she's
him,
neither of those. What
no.
is she, like a goddess?
They are not in a relationship.
Are they divorced?
They are divorced, and she is with another celebrity gentleman.
Really? Okay,
Yes.
before you get into that, let me just update you guys. So he's gone from picking fights to picking flowers. So Kanye West apparently delivered a truckload of flowers to his estranged wife, Kim Kardashian, on Valentine's Day as part of an ongoing campaign to win her back. Yeah, good luck with that. He says, my vision is crystal clear. Crystal with a K. Clear with a K.
Yes, because it's Kim
Kardashian,
Kardashian.
right.
Yes, 2 Ks. Yes, I see.
So, so on Instagram, let's see. So there's a black truck with its bed spilling over with flowers. Oh my God. Okay. The same words were written along the side of the truck, the spelling seemingly at a pointed hint at the flower's intended recipient. West's V-Day gesture comes amid his breakup from Julia Fox. Who the hell is that? As well as
I know. I'm not sure.
To win Kardashian back, despite the KKW beauty founder being in a relationship with Pete Davidson. Oh, that's the Pete Davidson, SNL guy.
Yeah. See, there you go. You know people.
I do know people. I know people because Pete Davidson was dating somebody else who was crazy famous, right?
He's dated Ariana Grande and
yes, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah. Wait a minute. Let me read this. Despite the Kim Kardashian West beauty founder being Kim is dating Pete.
That's what it's. That's what I understand, and that's what the article I think says. Yes. So.
All right.
I think you're getting caught up on the wrong details here, Jens. And
I am. Okay, sorry. I'm totally not even. You see, this is how interested in Kanye I am. I'm much more interested in like remembering who Pete Davidson is. Yes. So here's a picture. A nice glossy black truck, black rims, no color on this thing except black, and of course my God. So, I'm a bit disappointed. So this is a pickup truck.
Yeah.
And it's got a bunch of roses in the back bed. I'm disappointed because when I first read this article, sends a truckload of roses. I'm thinking like a truck, like a real truck, like a dump truck.
You're saying he's cutting corners and not doing things up to the level that Kanye should be doing things. So
the flowers that are in the back of the truck, you could have fit in your Subaru, dude.
Oh, okay. This is nothing. This is
no big deal.
Kanye, if you really wanted Kim back, you have to get her a dump truck, okay? Because this isn't impressing anybody. So
he should have filled the dump truck full of flowers and just dumped his love right on her.
He should have dumped his love on her. Yes, we'll carry on from there. So
next.
All right. Yes, carry on. Okay. So Jens, my next story here is about another rapper, Jam Master Jay. This is an old story that's been brought to the present right now. Jam Master Jay was murdered, and this was 2 decades ago. But the case has sat unsolved for 2 decades, and a September date was set for the murder trial. The Run DMC rapper, real name Jason Mizell, was fatally shot inside his Jamaica Queens recording studio at the age of 37 in 2002. It was a cold case until 2020 when police, the FBI, and other law enforcement bodies indicted 2 men, Ronald Washington and Carl Jordan Jr., on charges of murder. And according to All Hip Hop, jury selection for the case will start on September 22nd. Opening statements and testimony will start September 26th.
Wow.
And if yeah,
That was a long time ago. How does stuff like that
yeah,
resurface?
I don't know how you pull stuff out. Like I read books, like I read Michael Conley, murder books and stuff like that, and it's like that sort of thing can happen in those sort of things, but you don't actually think that those things happen in real life. That 20 years later, especially on a public case like that, that it's actually going to move forward, right?
Right. That's crazy.
Yeah. So I guess we'll see a little bit later this year what happens in the Jam Master Jay murder case.
Yeah. Maybe there'll be the OJ thing. That must be a cold case, right? They still haven't found her killer. When's that going to resurface?
Maybe that'll be 20 years later, although that was 95. So we're past 20 years on that. That's crazy. It's been more than 20 years since OJ.
And wasn't it the Kardashians' dad? He was the lawyer, I think, defending him.
I think so.
I think the only reason they got popular. As soon as we find out who killed Kennedy, maybe we'll find out who killed OJ. I mean, his wife.
We will.
Okay, I'm ready for a story. Yeah, so we have an aspiring rapper here who was arrested after jumping Diddy's fence to play him a demo.
Okay. Diddy.
Yeah, I'm going to pretend I know who Diddy is. So the 23-year-old showed up at the hip hop mogul's home unannounced. Ooh. Wow, okay. This is supposed to be a surprise or something. An aspiring rapper named Zaya Smalls was reportedly arrested on Saturday, February 12th, for trespassing on Diddy's property to play him a demo tape. A demo tape, like a cassette tape? Like he had a cassette tape in his pocket?
He did the John Cusack thing and held the boombox up. And
Right. What was the name of that movie? Say Anything?
Say Anything, yeah.
Oh my God. I can totally picture that right now. Okay, so here he is with a boombox. Picture the Say Anything theme, and he's got his demo tape, playing in it. So according to TMZ, the 23-year-old showed up at Diddy's, real name Sean Combs, Los Angeles home, and began pounding on the security gate to strike up a conversation with the Bad Boy Records founder and business mogul. After being refused entry, he then successfully hopped the fence and was met by Diddy security, who apprehended him until police arrived. So
he was not met by Diddy, huh?
He was met by representatives of Diddy.
People who have met Diddy, yes.
Yeah. And he's, he met some of Diddy's property, like the fence that he jumped. And,
oh, good.
Oh my God! So there's, I guess, a video clip of this guy who can be seen pacing in front of the security gate and yelling obscenities, getting increasingly frustrated at being unable to make contact. Diddy was not home at the time, and Smalls was arrested for trespassing but released from custody an hour later.
Okay.
So people might not know this, but this is not the first time that Diddy has had to deal with intruders.
Oh, he's that popular. He's happened before.
I guess he's a pretty popular guy.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm just thinking that this guy's got some issues.
I would say so, and I don't think that's a way to jumpstart your career. So
probably not.
It's a way to jumpstart offense, but
it is a way to get into the news.
Yes, I guess he was successful in that, but
he's got that going for him.
Yes. Speaking of getting in the news, we have one more story, Jens, and it has to do with a legendary musician. That is.
I have no idea who you're talking about, but there's a picture I want you to see. Hold on here. I saw a picture of this guy. You might know who he is, and I thought of you, so I thought I just wanted to show this to you.
Ah, yes. Yes, a movie coming out in 2 weeks with Mr. Dave Grohl.
Mr. Dave Grohl. There we go.
Horror film. They did their first ever VR concert over the weekend on Facebook. If you have one of those Oculus headsets or something, you could have participated in the VR thing. Otherwise, you could have streamed it. And so I streamed part of it. And
nice. How was it?
It was a good show. Yeah, it was a good show. I didn't get the VR experience, but this is not about that. This goes beyond that, because that's old news at this point now. This is the Foo Fighters go thrash metal on a new song called March of the Insane. The track was released under the moniker Dream Widow from their never released self-titled album. They've shared an unexpected new song. Let's see here. The track was quietly released today under the alias Dream Widow. And Dave Grohl's growling his way through the lyrics, sing in a villainous choir, join in a choir of pain, Grohl sings on the track, rise in a ruinous army, dance to the march of the insane. You can listen to the song. It's 10 days, ironically, before the release of Foo Fighters' upcoming movie Studio 666, and also earlier today, the band launched a new merch line to celebrate the film. So here's a little bit of the song. Yep, draft metal. There you go.
There we go. So I'm thinking this is a vampire film.
I mean, I don't know. We're gonna see. It's a horror comedy, right? So I'm guessing that song might be in the movie or on the soundtrack or something along those lines. So getting you excited for that movie. We're gonna go see it, right?
We're gonna go see it. We are gonna go. We are gonna be opening night.
We have an obligation to see it to the audience, being as we talk about Dave Grohl every week. So
and I think you should wear your Johnny Cash shirt to the show.
Is this the one I should wear?
To show your full support. But you got to wear the Foo Fighter shoes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I will wear it. I can do that. Yes. That's a good call.
So you got your outfit figured out already.
I like that. I mean, you figured it out for me. Actually, so that's it. That's our show for today, Jens. Let me tell you who we got next week on the show. We have kind of music royalty in a sense. So John Bonham of Led Zeppelin. We have his sister on the program, as well as her husband. They are in a band called Bonham Bullock. This is Deborah Bonham and also her husband. Peter Bullock, and again from the UK. So I had a chance to interview them. They were a freaking riot.
That's awesome.
It was a lot of fun. So them on next week. The following week we have Kentucky Headhunters, Greg Martin on the program. So the train keeps rolling, Jens.
Train keeps rolling, and in Johnny Cash style fashion, I'll let you sing the lyrics.
Train keeps a rolling. It's coming around the bend. We're gonna wind this show out, and this is where it ends. We tune in next time.
I hope it ends soon, because the song's sounding worse.
Time to go. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. For all of us here at Concert Pipeline, that's Jens Schippel.
That's Steve Jones.
We'll catch you next time.